my midday video. And boy, I'm getting a lot of alerts today. So there's a lot of action going on in these markets on above average volume. And a lot of opportunities for trades today. I put several trades on. Most of them worked. And boy, it was a really nice day. And I quit around 11:30 today. But what I'm seeing here, my biggest concern going forward here, that's the bond market, U.S. Treasuries. And basically, what I'm seeing here is that that's the linchpin for this bullish potential bulls in these markets here. The bond markets have been, bond markets are supposed to be low when the markets are at all-time highs, but because all the central bank manipulation, the bonds were at record highs at the same time as the stock market being at record highs. So it's created a unique dynamic in the markets which we've never seen before. So the problem that I'm seeing going forward here is all this stimulus we're introducing, we may put into law overnight, and um, as these prices in the ZNs come in, the yields go up. So that means the to sell those bonds into the market, they're having to sell them at a greater discount for the higher yields. So it's costing the federal government more money as the prices come in. It costs more money they bring in less money for the bonds. Okay, so that's a problem going forward here, and this also impacts your mortgage refinancing. As these bonds come in, goes and factors in with getting mortgages. Your mortgage yields or your mortgage rates are going higher as these bonds start to bleed off, and that's a negative potential for the markets going forward. Issuing all this debt could be have a negative impact on interest rates going out in the not so distant future. So just keep that in mind going forward here. It looks like to me we're going going to be going into tomorrow, and we are going to be seeing a breakdown again in our ZNs going into tomorrow's session. So something to keep on watch going forward here, kind of concerning. And as in my weekend video, I had talked about volatility. Wouldn't you know it? Getting crunched this week. And the main reason I think the volatility is getting crunched because you have all the floor traders gone, and the computers are running the algos, and I think that's really helping crash down these volatilities, and it's really helping support the markets for a short squeeze. Where we're actually putting, instead of going up and down, 1,000 points intraday on these markets, by getting this volatility coming in, longer term traders can actually start positioning themselves either to the long side or the short side, and not have to worry about taking huge swing hits the opposite direction, bullish or bearish. And by having the volatility coming in here, it makes it a little bit more constructive to for you for traders to actually step into these markets for even swing trades. So as we have this start coming in further, and I like to see it back into the 30s. Once we start getting back in the 30s, I'll actually start doing swing trades. It's still too high for me to even consider swing trades at this point, overnight trades. So I've just been doing day trading, pretty much all day trading, and been doing very well during this sell-off. It's just too dangerous to me with you just, unless you want to have, I've already got an ulcer, unless you want to have a bleeding ulcer, trying to deal with this volatility, it's really difficult to keep up with it. Okay. Okay, my indices, what I'm seeing today, basically, we have a level here. I've been acting as resistance for quite some time now. It's the 2420 area. Once we broke that, we went into bearish territory on the markets. And we came up to the tick on that 2420 area and immediately found some responsive selling today in the ES futures. Then in addition to that, the Qs. That's our market maker high expected move from last Friday. We came up to the tick, immediately found sellers in the market. Looks like we are actually breaking our moving average support as well, and probably going to bleed lower back down into this trend line today, unless they actually sign that bill or something that might give us a late day pop in the markets. But yeah, it looks like they're taking some of the extra froth out of these markets, and I do think the bulls are still in control. And as I have said, I'll just go over here to my spot ES futures, and we'll go out in a longer time frame, 1 hour. Let's go 1 hour, 180. There you go. Okay. Yeah, I can bring it down here. Down here, the 40% area. This was my target, and that's the weekly value area low for the ES futures. And this is where my target was for the weekend, and we did not come down here and hit that. So this is where I'm still thinking before the week's out, we are ultimately going to be at. And that's another reason why I do not want to take overnight longs, even with all the stimulus, because I really think that this down here is ultimately where big money big money doesn't really want to step into this market until we've actually come down into this zone, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind going forward here. We're seeing short squeezes all over the place, seeing some constructive building in some of the technology and stuff. But this is ultimately what I am looking for. And we may not get it. We might have actually put in a low already. I've watched too many markets to really think that we have significantly locked in a low in these markets. Okay, our Russell still hanging out down here in this lower consolidation. This is the area that's been beaten up the most by far. So this is the one area I do want to see a leader for a breakout continuation pattern, which we're not even getting at yet. So, I do not think at all that we have turned the corner. One thing we do have constructively for the markets, and it probably bodes the same for the yeah, does the same for the well, it's not even, we're doing it for the IWM here. Basically, I want a higher low for the day versus the day before, and the close, I want a higher high close. Okay, so basically, I want to close above the highs of the prior day. So basically, we want at the very least we want a low higher than the prior close, and then we want this day's close higher than the highs of the prior day, and we're still not getting that on the IWM. And if we go back here to our ES futures real quick here and see what's going on there, okay, that is the situation we got going on here. We are getting the open is, we got a higher low right here, and unless we completely bleed off here, we are going to have a higher close, although we are going to get a higher close. So this is a potential change in character in the bearish trend of these markets. So something to keep in mind. You got to be really careful on your shorts, seeing that change in tone and breath. Okay, another thing I'm looking at in these markets, everything going on in these markets, if we are really having a healthy, constructive bounce in this market, why are the high yield bonds only up less than 3%? When there's all over the place, you're seeing 10% plus, 10, 15% increases in a lot of the stocks. And this is a major warning sign for me going forward that this is a dead cat bounce, because they can't even seem to lift the high yield bonds off of a very significant sell off down here. So that reconfirms that the lows are probably not in, and the selling pressure is probably not over, in my opinion. Another thing, we have a higher low on our financials, but we're not putting in a higher high yet on our financials. So this is an inside day on our financials. This is another reason I'm thinking that we probably don't have the lows in yet in this market. So those are the two main things that I'm looking at here that give me major pause on this bullish move in these markets. And we really don't have a lot of significant order flow today. Uh, you know, it looks like Home Depot is finally hitting. But as far as individuals go, let me go through here and I'll look at these real quick. Okay, what's going on with Home Depot? It's coming into a resistance zone right here when I'm getting alert in my trade ideas. So I would say that they're actually putting on a hedge or a bearish position for Home Depot into resistance going for in the short term. So just keep that in mind on your trading. Um, it looks like to me like they're putting a thinking that we might have topped out here on this move up. So something to keep in mind. This is a bear market rally, so you have to assume resistances are areas where you initiate more shorts. So you don't want to get all caught up. You have a downward trend right here on our Microsoft. And it hasn't broken, and you know, uh, basically this is the area right up here to initiate further shorts, and this is another one that has not come in for a solid back test of my support area down here that I've been looking for. Apple actually came in and did my support, but Microsoft did not. So keep that in mind going forward here on your trading. Some of the things that I'm seeing here. Quick rundown for my trades today. My first trade this morning, 9:33. So basically on this candle here, uh, what I was seeing was the pivot point, or we are at the pivot point and the VWAP, and there weren't that many charts like that here right at the open. So I took Alibaba puts out of the gate this morning, and it was a really nice little trade that I managed to scalp right here at the open. And mainly I took it because it was up so big and we were right near the VWAP and the pivot point. And I thought, I had really thought it had exhausted its move with it being right at the pivot point, and that's why I took it. So it was a nice little positive trade for me this morning. Then I took Microsoft puts as well, 934, and so that was another one in this next candle that I took. It broke the VWAP, and it was another one that I caught a nice little responsive sell on Microsoft on the opening prints this morning. Uh, my opinion was that uh, Microsoft and Apple have been holding back the markets, and and they're below critical support areas for bullish activity. So the pops have generally been getting sold into in the early morning sessions. So keep that in mind going forward here, that they're not really accumulating these stocks yet. I think the prices are going lower before the accumulation starts. Okay, the next one I took uh, right here on this candle, 951. I has actually started initiating some calls in AMD, and it started going sideways on me. So I chucked this for just a nominal gain because it took too long. I try to have a 15% trade window or 15-minute trade window, and it just chopped out on me. But I didn't lose any money on the trades, so that works out. And then just a few minutes after that, I also at the same time had luck and puts. I was seeing a similar situation, so 950. 950, we were breaking the VWAP, and I saw that the 100 EMA and all these were so far down below, and then we have our pivot point way down here below too. I thought that the uh, Chinese stocks would show relative weakness if the markets did decide to sell down. Well, it didn't really work too well. I did take a small profit on it, thank goodness, but it didn't really give me the sell off like I wanted. So I just a profit's a profit, but that was the reason I took the setup. Okay, here's one I made a mistake on. This is one of my I think this was ended up being my largest loser for today. It went against me. Basically, we were showing relative strength this morning with Amazon. Well, we came into this candle here. Well, this is my second candle. I did initiate a put, just one put on Amazon, thinking we were going to get a bleed back down to the 1910 area on relatively short order. That's kind of what I was thinking here on Amazon. Well, they immediately came back in and propped it back up against me, and I had to once it crossed back over, I had to stop out on that one little put, and unfortunately, those things happen sometimes. So uh, you live and learn. Pretty much most of my trades today have all been winners. Okay, Apple, it's still a pretty much a bearish chart. I mean, we were above the 1030 238. Now we're crossing back below. The 238 is the bullish bearish line. It looks like it's probably going to sell off now into the afternoon. Right about this point here, I started see here. Wait 1 second, let me double check my time. Okay, right here on this candle here, I saw what was going on there. It looked like it was putting in fresh new highs for the day. I put a starter in right here for Apple, and then once I saw it break taken off, I doubled down on this candle. So I managed to take Apple for the entire move. It was a really nice trade. I sold early, of course. I mean, like I typically do. But I did have a really one of the nicest moves for the day. I did manage to capitalize on Apple using my pivot points for today. Okay, 10:45. I actually took a short as we broke this consolidation for Netflix. I did manage to catch all this candle, I believe, for Netflix. I actually got it all the way down to the very lows and managed to catch that entire sell-off move. Really nice. That was my best trade. That one little candle there was my best trade of the day. It was a really nice payday. Over $1,000 on that one little dip on Netflix this morning. The reason I was bearish on Netflix, they were selling off everything Corona related because the news overnight be less bad for the whole Corona stuff. So keep that in mind going forward here. It does look like the markets are beginning to sell off. Otherwise, I wouldn't be getting these alerts. So something to. Okay, another trade I did. We had a VWAP backtest here on Tesla, and I took calls right off the VWAP for a potential long, and I didn't hold it very long, but it looks like I only took a fraction of the move, but that was my second best trade of the day on Netflix. It was or Tesla. It was really showing relative strength, and as we speak right here right now, this is actually another buy point. This is actually a more supportive buy point than what we had even back here for Tesla. So we'll see what happens going into the afternoon. But if I was still trading, I would actually be trying to buy Tesla at this point. And we're probably going to have a fairly big candle off of this combo, a lot bigger than what we got back here on, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. See if that confirms what I'm saying. But that's exactly what I'm thinking. No, we didn't get it. It finished out, and we didn't get the same volume. So maybe it is falling out of favor. So we'll see what happens. And my last trade for today, I really thought Facebook was setting up for a massive breakout move here, which didn't work out. But basically, I got a different chart here. I got some MAs on two different charts. This here is the 21 EMA, and we came down below the 21 EMA, and I immediately bought Facebook, and I saw that real quick candle pop there. That was a really good. That I made some pretty. It was over $300 on that one little pop there for Facebook. So and it's really nice whenever you can make a quick trade in 5 minutes and make $300. So that just gives you some of the ideas of some of the things I'm looking at today. It looks like a nice responsive buy zone for Facebook right here as we speak and think about it. So we'll take one last look at the indices, see how they're doing. It looks like we're trying to bounce off of a support area, that trend line, as we speak, and a moving average potentially bouncing back up to the upside. I wouldn't want to be shorting here, that's for sure. And same way with the ES futures, trying to build out value up here in this upper distribution, in my opinion, on these markets. So that just gives you a quick rundown of some of the stuff that I've done and some of the things I'm thinking about. Like the video if you like it, and please leave some comments and stuff like that. That just gives you a rundown of my trading. I don't typically do this many trades in one day. I mean, I try to keep it under five in any given day. But the way the markets were moving this morning, I was really confident with a lot of the stuff I did. So, um, you know, uh, I only did far fewer trades yesterday and used more buying power and made far less. So, I'm pretty happy with the results that I had today. So, good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.